It was good to get that first conference win on the road at Temple, and knowing this week we have a short week, and the preparation and our focus, we have to really take our time and just make sure that we take the time on our players, make sure that they put in the time. And the 3 years I've been here, each year it's been a battle, and it's been one of those games. Our first year we had to go to Rutgers and went on the road. Our second year here was playing out here, and I was able to get the win. Then last year, just an overall team effort, and look what Teddy did, and what he played with a broken wrist and a bummed ankle, but we were able to go and seal a victory, and then go to the Orange Bowl and get that win. Sugar Bowl, get that win. But it's a really outstanding team. If you look at what they return, Flood's done a great job of coaching that team after taking over Pisciano, and it's going to be a good test for us. And we know that our preparation has to be our focus, and then just a whole mental attitude. And if our guys take the time and put in the time and knowing they understand just how important this game is, then we're going to be on track.
Charlie, what are some of the challenges in an off week or a short week? What are some of the challenges you face?
Well, just the challenge like today is actually Monday. So usually on a Monday, we take time out just to take the whole day to break down the opponent. But what was good is getting in the 2 weeks ago with our open day, we were able to take that time and work on Rutgers, to work on that game. And now that the game, we can take the time, go back to that week and take all of our adjustments and now go to practice. But today is a Monday, so we were treated like a Tuesday. And then a Tuesday we would treat like a Wednesday, and a Wednesday we would treat like a Thursday. So it's a short week, and it's so key that with all our preparation, with everything we do, that our guys know, and they know everything that is going to be thrown at them, and what Rutgers have with their adjustments on offense, with their adjustments on defense, and even in the kicking game.
Kelly, do you have an update on Devontae?
Devontae, we will still evaluate him from day to day. We will make a decision on Thursday morning whether he can go or not. But our training room staff is giving him all the treatment that we need to give him and try to get him out there and get him ready to go play.
Is it a sprain or?
I really don't know. I just know what it is. It's a shoulder injury, and just what it is and how significant it is.
What goes into evaluating that? Is it more how he feels and his pain threshold, or?
Yeah, and that's what it is, because with each player they have a different pain threshold. So with Devontae, a lot of times I knew he was hurt when he came out of the game, because he usually doesn't come out of the game. And I said, "How you feel?" He said, "It hurts." So I knew he was hurt. So it's going to be up to the player.
Well, what's his mood today, or what has been his mood since then?
Oh, it's just like with him, you never know, because he's always going to be the same. You say, "Hey, how's it feel?" It's getting better.
You know who would play in his place if he can't go?
What we would do is, what we did on Saturday, you still got the receivers there with Michael Lee, you got Copeland, and Milton's a guy who's got to come into play for us. Quick has got to come into play. But we have enough receivers. We just don't have the big playability like him where you get in the red zone and the ball is thrown up. But we have enough receivers where we can put guys in place and let them play.
Charlie, what does he mean to your offense?
Well, when you're in the red zone, he can make the catches, but he's made a lot of big catches for us. But, what the quarterback does a good job of finding receivers. Look at Saturday, he threw the ball to 9 different guys called passes. So, we're going to miss Devontae, but other guys got to step up, and that's what happens.
But the threat, does he open things up for other people because you have to pay close attention to him all the time?
Well, what has happened now, we're so balanced on offense, we're able to run the football. So now with us, we have the running game going with the 3 backs. That has helped us because we're such a play action team. So now that's opening us up. And then you look at Copeland who's playing well. I know all those guys. You look at whether you're slot receiver, that you're going with Eli, who's made a big catch there, and then Robert Clark, and the tight end with Gerald Christian is putting pressure on offenses also. So you'll miss him, and he's a really outstanding player. But other guys, you're surrounded by some really good players. So you hate to see any player go down, but other guys have to step up. That's what it is.
Charlie, is it his call or is it Dr. Shea's call or the trainer's call? How does it decide?
It'll be a combination of all, and because we're going to do what's best for the young man. And if he walk in there tomorrow and say, "Coach, I'm ready to go," then it's no different than last year. We go to Rutgers and we play. With Teddy, he comes in And at the beginning of the game, he didn't think he could play. He said, "Coach, I don't know if I can play." And I said, "You know what, Teddy? That's because I knew the atmosphere was going to be unbelievable." And I said, "Hey, just wait and just see how the game goes, and then we'll make a decision." Then, halfway in the first quarter, he's grabbed him. He said, "Hey, Coach, I'm ready to go play." And I said, "I thought you couldn't play." He's like, "No, I'm ready." But Devontae, yeah, like I said, he's such a special player, and we're going to do what's right for him.
Charlie, what does a Thursday game do for you guys, especially this year, given some critics of the schedule want to be more or less the only game in town, national TV and all that stuff?
But the national TV's big for us, and they give the whole country a chance to watch us play. And I keep saying it, and I always say it, I tell our team this, they have a chance to go watch the best team in college football go play. And that's the way we had to go out and perform, and the standard has been raised here. And what else raising the standard? Your performance has to get better. But it gives us a chance for the whole national picture for everybody across the country to watch us play.
Are you saying that you're the best team in college football?
I tell my team that every day. I'm the best team in college football. I want them to understand that. But you have to, because with what we have and with the players that we have, you know how it is with these players here. But I just want them to realize that, whatever people say about our schedule, whatever people say that you're not really playing anybody, there's enough negative being said about them. So let's give them a positive shot.
Why do you believe that?
Well, because I look at what we have, and I look at us on offense. You have an outstanding quarterback. You have a really good set of wide receivers. You have an outstanding offensive line. And then on defense, you have a defense that's playing very well right now. But it's all about convincing them, because they heard, like I said, it's what's been said about them. I want them to realize this, that they are a good football team.
When did you start telling them that?
Oh, I've been saying that to them.
All season or
Yeah,
preseason?
Preseason, but you know what, you gotta come with something positive, because why should you ever listen to all the negative being said about it?
Well, do you have any objections as a coach to Thursday games? Do you think it allows players enough time to recover?
Well, sometimes the turnaround is so quickly, because like you said, you go from Saturday and all of a sudden you play on a Thursday, because you would like to go from Saturday to Saturday, and then they give you enough time, especially with guys getting injured. But, just the way the schedule's set up, when you get a national audience, which we're going to be able to get, I think it helps your program, and then it gives your university a lot of notoriety that you may not get on a Saturday.
Are you any more cautious with players on the short week as far as whether they should play or not?
Yeah, but that depends on our training room staff and just everybody sitting down and talking, because we would never jeopardize the player at any time with his injury or his health, and just put him out there just to, because we feel like we had to have him. And what we built in this program now, I think that we built enough where we have enough depth where you do lose a guy. I think about this sometimes. I look at our defensive linemen. We got 2 defensive linemen now with Brooks and with D'Angelo Brown, both starters, and we just moved on, so that we were able to take Brandon Dunn and move him to the nose. And I mean, you have 2 starters out right there. And then Mount's not playing right now; he's kind of banged up. So there's three starters at defensive line that are out that aren't playing right now. So you feel like if you recruit the right way, and you get enough guys in position and get enough guys there, then you can go. But we didn't have 3 years ago we weren't sitting in this position because we was just trying to find guys to plug in. But I don't think we had to find guys to plug in now. I think we can take another good player and put him on the field.
You talk about giving them positive reinforcement when they're hearing negative stuff. How do you react personally to slipping the polls after convincing wins?
I tell them all the time, and I made this statement, it's all about us. We can't control what anyone does or how we slip and polls. Guys, just keep playing. It is, because if you start worrying about what people are saying about you, and it's game 5 and you go out there and slip, then the only thing you've done is convince them that you're not very good. So let's not do it. Let's just worry about ourselves. Let's continue to improve each and every week, and let's go play our best on game day.
We started the scoreboard watch a little bit, like on Saturday after you guys beat Temple. Did you look at what people were doing around you in the polls?
No, I never do that, because I just think it's too early in the season, and we still got a lot of games to go play. Because what they do has no effect on what we do, so I don't even look at it paying attention to it.
I know after a Thursday game, you don't have a lot of time to go back over the game you just played, but did you feel like you improved against Temple, or were you? dissatisfied with the
The,
Teddy?
the second half, I thought we could have played better. If you look at it offensively, I think there's too many penalties. Yeah, I think we had 4 holding calls and 1 personal foul. But we were good in the red zone, but you like to walk away with touchdowns instead of field goals. And then defensively, is the missed assignments, the missed tackles, giving up the big plays. And we could have played a lot better. In the second half, we only scored 6 points. We were up 24. But we had to finish, and we have to learn how to finish. And until elite teams go finish the game.
What's some of that red zone, just not having Devontae, or were there other things that you'd like to have seen better?
No, the first one is just, we throw a ball to the outside, and Teddy hits a pylon, and we just put it out there. It's a touchdown there. Gerald drops one, he bats it down, actually. And then, then the next one I told the official, he cost me one. Remember the one that Robert Clark called? He came in there and he bumped the official.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, well, you cost me a touchdown right there. But it's just that, you do count on Devontae so much in making that throw, but we just have to execute better.
Charlie, I think Sean at one point used 3 and 4 tight ends the other day. Just talk about that position and how you developed the depth. And Zeke and Keith are 2 guys we hadn't seen a lot until the last couple of weeks.
It was, you think back a year ago, we only had Nord and we had Hubble and we had Chris White. And, Whitey at the time was a walk-on. So then this season, you flip back around now, you go Gerald Christian, you go Hubble, you go Zeke Pike, and you go Tobridge. And now you have 4 tight ends. And the way the offense is set up, it is so personnel driven that you're able to get those tight ends in, and they create mismatches. Because what you can do, you can take those tight ends, you put them in the slot, and you create a mismatch, or you can put them in the box and you create mismatches. But the tight ends are very critical to our offense.
Talk about Zeke and his progression from. Everybody heard about him when he was younger as a quarterback, and then when he came here, obviously as a tight end, it's a little different for him.
Well, it's a little different because you don't get to play tight end. Quarterback, you have to go play tight end. But Zeke is developing and he needs to get stronger, but he's athletic. The block that Gaines, the return that Gaines had last week, he made a key block when he knocked the guy down. But Zeke is an outstanding athlete, so for him to go play another position, it isn't hard for him.
How important was these first 4 games in terms of building that kind of a depth, that depth at wide receiver that's helping you now with this injury?
Well, it's not only a wide receiver we're able to build up, but you were able to build it with each position because you got in big leads, and so now you're able to play a lot of players. Because even at the quarterback position, Will Gardner got some snaps in the defensive line and the secondary, so we're able to build depth with a lot of different positions, and they gave guys a chance to go play it and just get it in a game situation where they're out on the field and they have them to produce.
But for you as a wide receiver in particular, in terms of providing more targets for Teddy, how helpful was that with bringing some of these other guys up and maybe getting some more touches from the veteran guys?
Well, with Teddy, what he does a great job is just seeing the whole field, and you just see that on Saturday. At one point, there's 9 different guys caught the ball, but if the offensive line just gives them that protection, then he's going to be able. If it's the first read isn't there, he's going to be able to go find the second and third one. I can remember it was a 3rd and 17, and he looked. If you remember, he looked to the right, and then he came back to the left to Kai Dominguez. Was his 3rd outlet, and he hits him on a big 3rd down. I think we ended up getting like 19 yards on that. But those young guys like Kai is stepping up, and so those guys are all stepping up, and they're playing better. But you would think that now that they've been in the program now for 3 or 4 years, they should play a lot better.
Any other guys who were questionable or out for the game?
Keith Brown is another one. He had hurt his knee early in fall camp, and then he hurt it again out there on Saturday. So he's another one that if we're gonna just go by the game day by day and just and do what's if he's not able to go, then he's a guy that's gonna miss some time. He'll miss some time. And Nacho don't know exactly when, but he could. I'm not saying he's out on Thursday.
What about the line the other day? And you were without Jordan. Will you have him back? And how do you feel like those guys play? Nacho playing a new position.
Well, they played well because if you look at the running backs, how well we ran the football, and I think Teddy may have gotten sacked maybe once or twice, but it's when they tell the offensive line, tell the defensive line, when we get sloppy, then the whole team looks sloppy. So it's why it's so critical that we don't give up the holding calls when we get a big gain, and we don't do anything that it would jeopardize stopping a drive. Like, just make sure that we're just moving guys out of the way. But you look at Smith played really well, John Miller, Jamon got pressure outside, but he just got to move his feet and block guys and back. And you're right, we put Garcia inside. And then when Garcia, Acosta had been playing, what we were talking about earlier, with guys getting some work, then Acosta goes in at the guard position. And we'll have Georgia back this week.
What caught your eye about Rutgers other than their point total?
Very aggressive on defense. The thing they do is kind of similar to us. They pressure, and they will pressure you every down. And I think they have 15 sacks in the 3 or 4 games. But I look at their competition. They go to Fresno and they play them to a 1-point, 1 or 2-point game. Arkansas happened down. They're able to come back against Arkansas. Then they have the huge lead against SMU, but they were able to go into overtime and win the game. But just the quarterback is playing a lot better. Nova, what he's doing is he's finding the receivers, not feeling the pressure as much. Offensive line is protecting him. Losing the running back has hurt them a little, but they're able to put the freshman in there, and he's running very well. A team is very balanced, going to run the ball, similar to us. When I look at the two, it kind of reminds me a lot of ourselves. A lot of play action on offense and defensively, a lot of pressure.
You've been fairly candid that some of the teams you played recently just didn't match up with you. This would appear to be your strongest test to date. Would you
This
agree?
will be. This matches up. This team, it matches up with us. And I mean, you just look at the history and then just what's been built here. And since I've been in the last 3 years, how this game has, it's came last year's 20-17. But this team matches up very well with us. And like I said, it's a lot like ourselves with being a pressure package on defense and then offensively, taking advantage of what defenses give them. And then the kicking game, they lead the nation right now in kickoff returns. Have 2 really outstanding guys back there that can get the ball down the field.
According to the presidents, they've got 27 guys, I think, in the NFL. I mean, have they athletically been the best team in the conference that you've played through the years?
They have, and I think that when Shiano was there, he did a great job of that. And if you think about it, he was able to keep the guys in New Jersey, just keep the East Coast locked down, then was able to go into Florida. And because of the Johnson kid, the guard that started for them, it came down to us and Rutgers. And when he's been there now 2 or 3 years, and so it came down to us in that battle. But he's done an outstanding job. You look at them, they're getting 4- and 5-star recruits to stay at home and finding a way to get them onto their campus, and that way they're getting them signed.
Other than your own team, which team has impressed you the most this year?
That we played?
No, that you've seen on television or anything.
I just ain't never looked at a team and say that team is really impressive. I really haven't. I just don't, because I just don't really study them that much. This team I have because we've had 2 weeks to look at them.
Is it just the log jam, or is there something James Quick isn't doing?
Oh, Quick, I mean, it's not nothing he isn't doing. It's just that you have a lot of veterans in front of him right now. You have guys that have played a lot. Because, we did look at his position. Cope is playing very well. Now Michael Lee comes back and he's playing well. And then Devontae, before he went down, was playing outstanding out there at that position. And then inside you have Clark and you have Eli inside there battling with him. And then you have Jared Davis, who's been in a program who gives you everything. And Kai has really come on. And so I tell you, it's just so tough because when you come in as a freshman and you have guys who's been in there 3 or 4 years, it's really tough to come in and beat them out because they want to play just like you and they're going to compete a little hard because they know how to compete. They understand the system. Really, it comes down to they understand the system and they know what their expectations are.
He was an elite recruit. What does that say in your recruiting process to a guy who was a 4 or 5 that James can't even come in here for?
Well, I don't know if we're that good now. I can't say that now. I can't say no 5-star gonna come in there and play now. I don't want to say that, but it's not so much he can't play. It's just that it's just a standard that the guys that have been in the system understand what the coaches is expecting, and they know the offense. Like these guys, we haven't changed our coordinator, so those guys kind of know the offense and they know what is expected of them. And then when you take a guy like to see a Kai Dela Cruz develop the way he's developed, but we've been seeing that in him, but we've just been waiting for him to all of a sudden come on and take off with it, and he has done that. And then you take a Robert Clark, who last year we didn't have. Now all of a sudden he's in the mix and he's playing very well. But those players, they want to play, but that's what you want. Competition, it brings out the best in guys, and that's what we're getting.
Coach, can you talk about the progression of Nick Dawson? He seems to be getting a little bit more involved as the game's going on.
Nick came in as a backer, and what it did was he's got so big, I just told him he's got to go to defensive end. And especially when we lost Mount, he's really came in and provided the depth for us, because now that with Marcus, he plays behind Marcus Smith, and Marcus is playing outstanding. But you just like that, his willingness to, a lot of times when a guy comes in a linebacker, you tell him, go play a defensive end. A lot of them don't want to go do it because they think they're a linebacker. They don't want to put their hand down. But he was so willing to do it, and he said, Coach, I'd do anything just to get on the field. And you watch him up there Saturday. He should have probably had a sack. I thought it was a sack and a safety, but he said a ball. It said wide receiver was in the vicinity somewhere. But but he is developing well, playing hard, and you just when you talk about just tough, smart, dependable players, that's what we look for. Tough, smart, dependable. That's what Nick Dawson gives you.
When you have a national TV game, it's kind of an advertisement for your program. Other than winning the game, what message would you want to send Thursday night?
Well, what happens is you get the country, and the recruits get a chance to really have a chance to see our program and see what we're all about. And then they watch those games, and people watch those Thursday night games. But at least across the country, when you look at a team and everybody's been talking about this team, then they can really have a judgment themselves after watching them play, because a lot of people ain't had an opportunity to watch us play yet. And so we're playing a good opponent, so we're going to see just exactly who we are and what we're all about.
What kind of impression do you want to leave?
Well, I want people to see that we are a very aggressive football team, that we play hard, and that we're a fun team to watch.
Charlie, it didn't appear that you had either one of the two fullbacks with you, DJ or Rule, the other day. How impressive was it, I guess, will you have either one of them back, and how impressive was it that you ran for so much without, because that fullback's been so important this year for what Sean's been doing.
Well, what's been great with the fullback position is you're right, we didn't have BJ or Ewell, but Gerald Christian can go back, because with our tight ends, it's why we move them the way we do, because a lot of times they're nothing but a lead blocker, so if you can just get them in the right spot and go put their face on someone, then we have a chance to go move the ball. But BJ and Ewell will both be back, it was good, really good to see that we could still run the ball with just using Gerald Christian and then with Hubble, and letting them just move around and try to go block guys.
Rutgers averaging 40 a game, I think. What are you stressing on defense this week? What are those guys have to do?
I think back a year ago, the first opening play, you remember, give up that 90-yard touchdown run, that got bounces off by the big receiver, and then they come back and we give up another big run, a big throw and catch. But what we have to do on defense is we have to tackle well. We need to get a line and just make sure that just assignment-wise with gap sound, because what they're doing a better job this year just running the football. Before the back got hurt, he had over 600 yards rushing. So we had to do a better job, just getting lined up and just making sure that we're gap sound and that we're very aggressive on defense, and that we know our assignment, because it's going to be one of those games where we can't afford to give up big plays, and it's going to be from the start. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a battle for us, and we just got to know on defense, just defensively, let's play smart and let's play good sound defense.
Charlie, everything you just mentioned was things that you guys stressed before the season when it came to defense, making plays, tackle, assignments, all that stuff. Is this the best test to see if these guys have really bought in and doing those things correctly?
This will be a good test, because you look at two teams that are evenly matched, two teams that know a lot about one another. I think that offensive line-wise, they returned 3 starters from last season, so they're going to know that, us return our guys on defense, the wide receiver back, the quarterback is back, and then defensively, they lost some guys, but they still return, I think, 4 or 5. So it's going to be a good match in this. Defensively, they know a lot about us, we know a lot about them, so it's all they're going to be about. Just being sound and totally aware of what's happening around you. A lot of times guys line up on defense and they don't see a lot of things. Guys, open your eyes and play with your eyes, and let's make sure that let's not lose our eyes. Let's make sure that we're in control of this game. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.